It's official, The Flash is a box office bomb. What's going on, guys? I'm Chris and welcome back to another video. So today I'm talking about The Flash and why the movie bombed at the box office. There's a lot of reasons as to why the film is massively underperforming right now. Before I get into this thing, be sure to hit that like button. Comment down below your thoughts on The Flash as well as why you think the movie bombed at the box office. Have you seen it? Have you not? Subscribe and hit that notification bell to help me reach my goal of 80,000 subscribers here on the channel. It would mean a lot. And of course, check out my Patreon, link down below. It's been revamped recently with weekly videos, live Q&As, early access to videos, and of course, the Discord server. It's been a lot of fun growing that over there, talking about movies, shows, The Flash, the upcoming Indiana Jones movie, all that stuff. If you want to be a part of that community, your support goes a long way. Check out my Patreon link down below. But without further ado, let's dive into The Flash. So I'll start by saying this. The Flash went through production hell long before the movie ever even came out in theaters, and frankly, it's a miracle that it actually hit theaters this year. It switched around directors, and there was all this behind-the-scenes drama, but then you get into the main issue with the film in terms of behind-the-scenes issues. Ezra Miller, the main actor in the film, who plays Barry Allen the Flash, has a troublesome past as it stands right now. I mean, Ezra Miller was accused of multiple things. I'm not going to dive into all the accusations, but you guys can Google it real quickly and see all of the madness that's been associated with the actor. It's pretty wild, and honestly, I'm baffled that Warner Brothers even decided to move forward with Ezra Miller as the lead actor. I understand that the film was super, super expensive, so they couldn't really afford to reshoot the whole thing, bring in everyone back on, do this massive reshoot with a new lead actor, because The Flash, the character, is in pretty much every single scene in this movie. There's 2 Barry Allens, if you guys have seen the movie, and that alone would just be way too much of a financial risk that probably wouldn't have much of a reward. So there's already behind-the-scenes drama and reports about Ezra Miller before the movie hit theaters, so a lot of general audiences were like, oh, that's kind of a bad look for Warner Bros. Releasing the movie, going through with the movie, even though the lead actor is very problematic right now. And I feel like this news had been generated and multiple news stories were breaking about Ezra Miller's antics that people, even the common moviegoer, were pretty aware of this troublesome past and the background that Ezra Miller has. So a lot of people were just put off by that and said, hey, I'm not going to go support The Flash. I don't support what Ezra Miller's done. I know there's a lot of other artists involved with the film, but I just can't get past Ezra Miller. A lot of people have felt that way. Even people who've seen the movie have said, I enjoyed it for certain moments, but I really just couldn't get past Ezra Miller being in it, and I'm like, to each their own, that is totally fair. But there's a lot more reasons that hold more weight, in my opinion. Obviously, not everybody's familiar with the Ezra Miller situation, and honestly, a lot of people probably don't even care. That's just the world we live in. It's a unique situation because there's a lot of factors at play here as to why the film flopped, and one of those is that there's a DC reset that's just looming right now. In fact, DC has brought in James Gunn to run things in the DCEU, starting up, I believe, officially with Blue Beetle, but it's still kind of unclear, and that's another problem. Like, The Flash didn't really clear the air on the whole thing. It's a little weird, but anyway. When it comes to the DC universe as we know it, it's resetting. All these characters that we came to know, I won't even say love, but just came to know over the past decade, whether that's Henry Cavill Superman, Batfleck, The Flash, Wonder Woman, that whole cinematic universe with them is sort of being eradicated, and we're moving into new territory with James Gunn. Because of that, no one really needs to watch The Flash or Aquaman 2, because they're not going anywhere. With the current construction of the DC universe, they're not going anywhere. It's like they're just going to be swept under the rug, thrown in the vault, if you will, and forgotten about. And a lot of moviegoers are sort of aware now that DC's headed in a new direction, so there's really no need to finish out watching these movies. They'll either A, wait to watch them on streaming or digital in like 2 or 3 months, or B, just skip the movie entirely because it's not going to be pivotal to understanding the future DC universe run by James Gunn. The reset definitely plays a factor, more so for people who are really in the know when it comes to the recent movie news and all that jazz. But I will say, DC's track record is another factor that hasn't helped this movie's success or lack thereof. If we look at the DCEU, which started in 2013 with Man of Steel, and we compare the top 10 opening weekends to the top 10 MCU opening weekends, the MCU has dominated DC for the past 10 years. People have grown to just go see the new MCU movie opening weekend, whereas with DC, they've been putting out movies that people are fine with skipping or not even catching in theaters at all. And it sucks because there's great characters with DC, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, the list goes on and on. But DC's track record has been horrific. We look at Suicide Squad from 2016, the theatrical cut of Justice League. We look at Wonder Woman 84, Black Adam. These are films that were not received well by audiences or critics, and because of that, the trust of audiences has been broken. People go to the movies to have fun, but they also spend their hard-earned money to go have fun at the movies. Like, going to the movies is different than just pulling up something on Netflix and hitting play. It's become almost an event, a big ordeal almost for a lot of people. So to ask someone to go see the new DC movie in theaters, spend their money on not only the film, but probably like concessions and just dealing with traffic even, going and dealing with people in a setting in a movie theater where people can be assholes, it's a big ask. And with DC, their movies haven't proven to be worthy of that in a long time. So a lot of audiences are gonna say, hey, I'm gonna save my money for the next big thing. And that leads to my next point. We are in a very crowded summer. The competition is a direct reason as to why this movie underperformed at the box office. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is still lighting up at the box office. It came out at the beginning of June, and the movie is still dominating. In fact, in week 2 for The Flash, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse was the highest grossing film domestically that weekend, with The Flash opening 3rd in its 2nd weekend. Pixar's Elemental outperformed The Flash in week 2. Even No Hard Feelings with Jennifer Lawrence, a movie that I definitely recommend seeing, by the way, almost topped The Flash in its 2nd week at the box office. The Flash had a 73% drop from week 1 to week 2. It only made $15.3 million domestically. Week 2. That's a failure. By any measurement or standard, that is a failure for a big tentpole Warner Brothers movie with Michael Keaton's Batman returning and Supergirl and The Flash. It is a failure. And there was a lot of competition its opening weekend. It went up against Extraction 2, which dropped on Netflix. A big action movie with Chris Hemsworth on Netflix. People can gather as many people as they want in their home and hit play on Netflix as opposed to going out to the theater, buying a ticket, buying snacks. Extraction 2 definitely kept people from going to the theater to see The Flash. Then you got Elemental, a Pixar movie, a little more family-friendly. That also came out the same day The Flash dropped. Direct competition. Then, like I mentioned, Across the Spider-Verse is still in theaters. Transformers Rise of the Beast is still in theaters. People are looking ahead and saying, hey, let's save our money for Indiana Jones, or Mission Impossible, or Oppenheimer, or Barbie. There's just a lot of great films lined up to come out, and The Flash came out at a really unfortunate time. The weekend it came out was also Father's Day weekend, so people might have been staying in, spending time with family. There were so many factors working against it, from the DC reset to the poor DC track record to the competition to the Ezra Miller drama. So all those were working against the film. Then you think about the fact that so many people saw this movie before it even came out. I was one of those people, but there were fan screenings well before the movie came out. There were critic screenings and just early screenings for general audiences, even test screenings. They showed the movie at CinemaCon in April, months before it came out. And it was around that time at CinemaCon when this overwhelming hype and buzz started to come out. Someone tweeted out in April saying it was the best DC movie since The Dark Knight. That is monumental hype. And a lot of this, hype train started to get going as people like James Gunn or even Tom Cruise chipped in saying this is the movie that cinemas need right now. And honestly, it just feels like a bunch of artificial hype just to try and promote the film. Guardians 3 and Across the Spider-Verse were also deemed great comic book films all time by a lot of people. And I can resonate with that. I can understand that point of view. With The Flash, hell no. So there was this really early first wave of hype and super positive reactions, and then as more critics started to see it and fan screenings started to happen, the buzz started to die down a little bit, and then when the movie opened, it exposed the truth. And the number one factor as to why this film bombed at the box office, it's genuinely not that great of a movie. At the end of the day, if you make a great movie, people will come. Even if they don't show up week 1, word of mouth is crucial to a film's success. I mean, look at a film like Pixar's Elemental. I thought it was fine, but a lot of people went out and saw it opening weekend, and the drop really wasn't that drastic from week 1 to week 2 because word of mouth among families probably spread positivity towards the film. People went and supported it. With Flash, everyone went in with sky-high expectations, and the result was a mediocre at best superhero film. Originally, I think I gave it a 3 out of 5, which is like my lowest positive score that I give a movie. The more I've discussed this with fellow people who've seen the film and friends, it declines and regresses every day for me. It is a heavily flawed film with god-awful CGI, and I know people have really hounded on that. It's because it's true and it's noticeably bad from the beginning of the film. But the movie completely derails itself in the 3rd act. I won't get into spoilers or why here, but it is insane. It becomes a nonsensical mess of a movie with a completely rushed joke of a finale. It left me disgusted. I had such a sour taste in my mouth as the credits rolled, because there's a great premise here. But at the end of the day, if a movie's not great and it doesn't land with audiences, it's not going to make money. That's the case with The Flash. So I sat here listing off all these different reasons, but the one thing you have to do to make money at the box office is make a great movie that is compelling and lands with audiences, and this movie failed to do all three of those things. And it just ended up being a complete miss across the board. And a big superhero movie like this that's just fine at best isn't gonna light it up at the box office. That's the case with The Flash. So yeah, I just wanted to make this video discussing why The Flash is bombing so hard, because I feel like it's a hot topic right now, and it's rare that a movie with such early praise ends up being so divisive and honestly poorly received by a lot of audiences. That's the case with The Flash. It's an anomaly, one might say. But what do you guys think of the movie? Let me know in the comments down below. Be sure to hit that like button. Subscribe to that notification bell to help me reach my goal of 80,000 subscribers here on the channel. It will mean a lot. And I've also revamped my Patreon fully. If you want to join the Discord server, get extra access to videos, all that jazz, check it out, link down below. Your support goes a very long way. That's gonna do it for my talk about The Flash. The movie's just gonna keep falling off each week and ultimately be on digital before we know it. That's just the name of the game. There you have it. The Flash bombed hard.